Good morning. My name is Ivan Santacruz.
Hi, my name is Hannah Faraday.
Hi, my name is Anikwa White.
Today we're going to show you how to build a computer.
When building a computer, the very first step you always want to take is to ground yourself to any metal. This will keep the static energy in your body from damaging the computer components. The motherboard is the air traffic controller of the computer. When choosing a motherboard, you want to pay close attention to the form factor. The form factor determines the general layout, size, and feature placement on the motherboard. In order for the motherboard to fit inside a case, they must have the same form factor. For example, an ATX motherboard cannot fit into an LPX case. The screw holes will not line up, and in some cases, the motherboard may not even fit inside. The motherboard coordinates all the processes, makes sure power is routed properly, and connects all the other components of a computer together. Note that this is not the same as the CPU, which is where all the computations are actually performed. While it doesn't hold a lot of power itself, nothing else could work without the motherboard, which is why it is considered so vital. If you have a look at your motherboard, chances are you'll see a square metal component somewhere in the lower right part of the board. This metal component is actually a heatsink, and its role is to provide thermal protection for the North Bridge, one of the most important components of a motherboard. The North Bridge is responsible for coordinating the data flow between the memory, the video card, and the processor.
A power supply unit, or PSU, converts main AC to low voltage regulated DC power for the internal components of a computer. Some power supplies have a manual switch for selecting input voltage, while others automatically adapt to the main voltage. CPU. The CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. It is commonly known as the brains of the computer. It's responsible for executing a sequence of stored instructions called a program and only reads ones and zeros.
The CMOS chip is usually powered by a CR2032 cell battery, referred to as a CMOS battery.
Chipset heatsink. The heatsink that is attached to the chipset is a passive heatsink, which means it does not use any electricity. They have no mechanical components and are 100% reliable.
RAM sticks for a desktop computer, also known as random access memory. It is temporary memory. RAM determines the speed of your computer. The more RAM you have, the faster your computer will work. Also, not every computer is compatible for a lot of RAM. The RAM sticks are located on the north side of the motherboard. RAM also holds the instructions to the software program. It reads the RAM with ones and zeros, and once you run out of RAM, your computer will start to slow down, and eventually it will start feeding off your hard drive, which is called virtual memory. Hard drive is an active component. It holds permanent memory. It stores everything from your operating systems, files, documents, and it uses electromagnetic data storage using a disk. It is very slow, and it transfers information using a SATA cable. Cooling fan. It takes the heat away from the heatsink that is created from the CPU. It keeps the CPU from overheating If the CPU is to overheat, it will cause the computer to just crash. There are other cooling systems, such as a liquid cooling system, but for this case, we have a cooling fan.
Optical drive. The optical drive retrieves and stores data on optical discs like CDs, DVDs, and BDs, which stands for Blu-ray disc, any of which hold much more information than previously available portable media options like the floppy disk.